Welcome to Nate's Basketball Analysis. Tonight, we are giving our too early rankings for each team, where we think each team will end up, what seed they'll end up in. I'm David.
I'm Nate. Let's jump right in.
Welcome. All right.
Okay, we're actually going to do it a little bit different than how I did it in the past with my previous co-host. And we're going to go backwards. So I think you wanted to start in the East or the West, David?
Let's start in the East.
Okay, Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
The worst team in all of the NBA is going to be the Charlotte Hornets. Do you concur?
No.
Okay, who's going to be the worst?
Although they'll be runner-up. I have the Pistons as the worst team in the NBA.
Okay. You don't think Cade Cunningham and some of the new talent that they have over there? Who do they have? Sadiq Burke? No, not Sadiq Burke. What's his name?
I think that's the problem. And why I'm not giving him any credit, because I cannot mention a single person who plays for Detroit.
Didn't they just pick up the Thompson, those twins? Some of them, I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, well, Detroit Pistons. Got that. All right.
That's right.
At 14th, who do you have?
14, I have the Charlotte Hornets. So
Okay.
your pick.
I have the Washington Wizards. 13th,
Yeah.
Pistons for me.
Wizards.
Wizards, okay, so we're pretty well on track for those.
Bradley Beal is gone. Kristaps Porzingis is gone. They'll be in rebuilding mode. They're gonna suck.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're gonna suck as bad as Charlotte or the Pistons.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think anybody really cares about what's happening with those last couple of teams anyways. Now we're getting into the more interesting teams. At 12th, who do you have?
Orlando.
Okay. You don't think that Orlando's going to do better with Paulo, huh?
That's fine. You know, we went over him a few nights. I mean, a few weeks ago. I think Paulo is good. I just don't think Orlando has enough power anywhere else
Okay.
to really be good.
I have the Pacers. And then I
the
have the
Pacers.
Magic at 11th. So I guess not
Wow,
much
man.
further up there.
Yeah, you keep reversing it. I have the Pacers next. They have what's that guy we talked about? The rookie,
Benedict
rookie.
Mathurin.
Benedict Mathurin. So they've got him. I think they got somebody else recently.
Tyrese Halliburton. They also picked up Bruce Brown from the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I think the Pacers. I mean,
And they have Obi
They're
Toppin from the Knicks.
that's right.
And
You're
Buddy
right.
Hield is a decent player. Sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going.
No, you're good. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, I think the Pacers are pretty respectable, and I might actually change them with my next pick. Trade the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let. Do you want me to go first with my next pick, or do
Yeah,
you want to
go ahead.
with your next pick? Brooklyn. I mean, I'm glad that dumpster fire's over, and they're not going to have Kyrie or KD at any point this season. So I mean, they're not going to be good, but they're going to be like right in the middle of the East. Is my expectation for them.
So you have Brooklyn at 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. I have the Raptors at 10th. And then I have the Bulls at 9th. And the Nets at 8th. I think they've got some decent pieces.
Who do you have in mind?
Mikal Bridges. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they still have Ben Simmons. And Ben Simmons supposedly is healthy and ready to play.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
Same with Zion, right? That'll
Yeah,
be interesting when we get to the West Coast teams and we talk about the Pelicans, because the West is stacked. So,
Yeah.
okay, who do you have in 9th and 8th in the East?
ninth and 8th, I've got the Raptors above the Nets.
Okay.
You know, they have Dennis Schroeder. They have Pascal Siakam. That's a decent
Duo
to start off of. I think they're gonna have a pretty good season.
They have the guy from the Spurs. I can't ever say his name. Potelli, something like that. The center. Sorry, I can't think of his name right now. Jacob.
Polto? I don't know
Yeah.
that.
Him.
Honestly,
He's pretty decent.
they also have Otto Porter Jr.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the Raptors, but honestly, I don't know how they'll do this year. I think they should go into full rebuild, and they have some assets. Ultimately, they could trade and get somebody else. They were part of the Damian Lillard sweepstakes, supposedly, but it didn't work out. And that was just a rumor a couple days before the trade actually went through with Milwaukee. So, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, move.
Next I've got the Bulls.
I was going to say, we've got to start aligning here. So you've got the Bulls at 7th.
Yep.
Okay, I have the Hawks.
You have the Hawks.
Okay.
Because of Trae Young.
Yeah, and the Hawks have kind of fallen off the wagon, so to speak. They've had a lot of good players. Now that they've cleared John Collins out to Utah, I'm interested to see how they do. I think there was a lot of drama, but I don't think Trae's getting any better. And Trae's also very upset just for not being invited to be on Team USA. And I don't know. I don't think he's progressing. So, interested to see how they do. I think they'll probably be sitting around the middle of the pack. So I'll have them in 7th, at least making the playoffs with some decent players on their team.
Sure.
So, 6th.
Yeah, I like. I've got Atlanta slightly higher.
I was going to say, you've got to have them higher because you haven't said them yet. So where are they on your list?
They're next. 6th.
Okay, I have the Cavs in 6th, which may come as a surprise to people watching this because that's a lot lower than you would think. So,
hey, the Cavs are going to be a good regular season team.
Yeah, good regular season team again. Exactly. Who knows how they'll do in the playoffs? Okay.
I don't know, man.
And you never can predict health and how teams are going to play out, but personally, I don't know if the Cavs will do that well. Plus, Donovan doesn't plan to re-sign in the offseason, so... Okay, 5th, I have the 76ers. Who you got?
The Heat.
The Heat have fallen all the way to 5th for you. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got them in 4th, and that was even bold for me. Who do you have in 4th?
The Cavs.
Okay.
And
wow.
Actually, you know,
do you have New York up really high too? Sorry to cut you off.
What?
Do you have the Knicks up high on your list?
Oh, you know what? I messed up. I'm sorry. I have the Knicks after the Hawks. My bad. I'm sorry. I messed that one up.
I was like, whoa, he hasn't said the Knicks yet.
It goes Atlanta, New York, Miami. No, I think the Knicks are a joke, and I'll always think that. I mean, unless they come out this season. I mean, you know, I guess I can be changed, but I don't believe in the Knicks. I said it. And also, I kind of want, you know, I wrote this like order, and I know I have Miami kind of low. I almost want to rate them higher because I think Tyler Hero is massively underrated.
Okay.
And I think that they wouldn't have won with him in the championship, but you know, there was this article that came out recently by ESPN. Where they had him at like 60th and 70th, and I was like, Tyler Hero was the 3rd leading scorer on a team that made the NBA Finals. That's you know, again, I just think that's criminally underrating him just in general.
He
I know
played
they made it
exceptionally
without him.
good that season, though, in particular. And since then, he's kind of digressed.
No, that's not true. Tyler Hero last year scored almost as many points as Bam Adebayo per game. So he was just under him. Shot almost 40% from from three, and you know, he was only like 2 points behind Jimmy Butler per game. That's
Wow.
you know,
Good for him.
yeah. So yeah, this is what I said, you know, when I was talking about Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, Tyler Hero is about as good as Bradley Beal. The difference is Bradley Beal is a looter and a riot, and whereas Tyler Hero actually plays on a real team.
Okay.
Anyway, there we go. Sorry, sidetrack.
That's okay. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how he does and if he takes the next step. From what I'm hearing, and this could just be rumors, but I've heard that he, with the Damian Lillard trade not going through, that he may come into the starting rotation instead of being a sixth man like he has been. So that'll be interesting to see. Here's my bold prediction then. Going back to the standings, I actually have the Knicks at third. Reason being, I think that they will make a trade during the season. They have the assets to do that, and they are looking for the next disgruntled superstar to be able to trade for. Namely, Joel Embiid is who they want to go for.
Yeah, that would be a good get. I mean, if that were to happen, then yeah, I guess I would put them near the top of the East.
But I also put them as a surprise because of Jalen Brunson and how good he's been. And whenever he plays Donovan in the first round, it seems like he's the better player than Donovan is, right? So ultimately, I think he has gotten better. He's found a role that's good. They're starting to build chemistry in New York. I think they're going to be a better team. So that's my bold prediction. I put the Knicks, and you never really can guess exactly where everyone's going to end up. It's always a surprise at the end of the season. So that is part of the reason why I said Knicks up there. So number 2 for me is probably your number 1. I have the Celtics at number 2. You have Milwaukee.
Do you have the Sixers again?
I had the Sixers at 5th.
Yeah.
Then the Heat at 4th. Knicks at 3rd, Celtics in number 2, and the Milwaukee Bucks winning the East again. I don't think that comes as a surprise to many.
Yeah, I have Sixers 3rd, Milwaukee 2, Celtics 1.
Okay.
Is mine.
So really the only thing that changed from what it was this year is you've got Milwaukee and Boston swapped, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sweet, man. So do you think Boston is coming out of the East?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got Milwaukee coming out of the East. So, okay, move on to the West Coast. Are we starting from 15 again, or are we going opposite direction here?
So start with top first and
Okay.
worst last.
Opposite direction. That works.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 1. I don't think it's any surprise here. I have the Denver Nuggets.
I have the Nuggets.
Okay. Number 2. I have the Phoenix Suns.
I have the Lakers.
You have the Lakers at 2?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, explain.
Although I might change my mind because Gabe Vincent sucks.
No changing your mind, man. This is set in stone now. This is going on the internet.
The Lakers kept most of their core, most of the players that were good. If Anthony Davis isn't made of complete glass this year, I think they're the second best team in the West.
Okay. That is a bold take, man, and I am interested to see how they end up. I've got the Suns, and that is determined again on health and chemistry. Got a lot of guards on their team. Okay, number 3 for me, I've got the Warriors, and that's because I think the Chris Paul thing is going to work. He makes teams better that he's on. Will it be a different arrangement for the Golden State Warriors? Yes, it will. but I think it's going to pan out. I think they'll be in third. Who do you have?
Third, I have the Suns.
Suns. Okay.
I'm not convinced by Bradley Beal. I don't think he's good for that team. I'm not buying. I don't buy Phoenix as the elite team. I mean, as a real elite team in the West.
Okay, I'm interested to see how they handle the ball since they're all kind of ball dominant players.
Yeah,
So.
and outside of their top 3 good players, that team is trash. I'm sorry.
They've got some decent players, and they added some depth with the trade, the Damian Lillard trade, getting Grayson Allen there off the bench, and a few others.
Okay.
So I think they'll be okay. In fourth, I have the Kings. I don't think they have fallen that far out of where they were last season. They're still a really solid team, and they're progressively getting better. So I put the Kings in fourth. That might be a little bold. But
At fourth, I have Golden State.
okay. Fifth, I have the Lakers, who you already mentioned as your number 2 team. Who do you have in fifth?
The Clippers. Last year was an anomaly. Kawhi had a bunch of issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be better this year.
I was hyped on the Clippers last year, and then they did so terrible that I have dropped them in my predictions this year.
I'm sorry, man.
Still making the playoffs, though.
Yeah, one thing I've learned about the Clippers is they will always disappoint.
It's okay. I don't like LA teams anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my bold prediction for the West, and this is going to surprise you. I have the Oklahoma City Thunder at 6th. I think they're going to mesh. I think, man, Chet's looking good. Chet is looking really good.
I don't have them that high.
Yeah, most people don't. That's kind of bold for me, and that's taking a lot of people out. As I went further down my list, I was like, oh, shoot, and that team. Oh, shoot, and that team. So we'll get to those, but I think that with their young pieces, they're going to make a good run at it this year. We'll see if it happens or not. I may be completely wrong on that pick. So, who do you have in 6th?
6 is Sacramento.
Okay, so you didn't have them too far away from where they were?
For the same reasons that you had them up higher. I like Sacramento. They're a good team.
They were healthy last season, which the luck was in their favor.
Yeah.
Hopefully that can happen again for them. Okay, after that, I have the Clippers at 7th.
Clippers at 7. Okay. I've got Dallas.
Dallas. Okay. I have the Grizzlies at 8th, which I haven't heard you mention them yet either.
I have the Grizzlies also at 8th.
Okay. So they've fallen quite a bit. I've seen, I think it's ESPN predictions. And they put the Grizzlies at number 1. A lot of weird things that I saw. I was like, number 1? So, they're missing Ja for a third of the season. I don't know. I don't know how they'll do.
Yeah, I mean, ESPN must have thrown that out there because they have nothing to lose. That's a nonsensical pick.
Viewers to lose.
Oh, I have nothing to lose too, but I would not put the Grizzlies at number 1.
We should put money on this, bro. Whoever's closest in our picks here wins dinner.
Oh, nah. I mean, we can do that if you want, but you know, if you wanted to bet that the Grizzlies won't be number 1 and you were willing to bet any significant amount of money, I would take it.
I'm not gonna bet that. I'm not going to bet that.
There you go. I don't really gamble anyway, but I'm just saying I would.
Okay, here's another bold prediction. Got the Utah Jazz at 9th.
Way to go, man.
Yep, I mean, they're playing the Clippers in preseason, and obviously it's preseason, but they won the first game. They're hanging with the Clippers in this next one. They are a really good team if you look at them. There are quite a few pieces on the Jazz that will play really well. So that's why I have them up so high. I'm hopeful that they'll continue to climb the charts because I love the Jazz. But if you'll notice, that does leave two teams that should be playoff teams out of the playoffs that I haven't mentioned yet. So I'll get to them in a minute, but I want you to say who your 9th team is first in the West.
The Pelicans.
Okay. Pelicans just outside the playoffs. If Zion plays and stays healthy the whole season, would you potentially put them higher?
Sure. I have no... I don't know. He's another one of these guys.
Unpredictable is a good word for him.
Yeah, he's unpredictable, but, I am gonna, I'm gonna count it by trade, so I'm very conservative when it comes to these things, and I'm just gonna say I expect Zion to not play very many games.
Okay. He's another one of those stars that may get disgruntled and request a trade. That's another one that I had on my New York Knicks list of players that may trade. Which I don't know if they'd want to take the chance on Zion. He's kind of like a Ja Morant type player, which you don't know if it's going to work out for your franchise with him type thing.
Sure.
So, anyways. So that puts it 10th for me, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think that combo is going to work. Even with Karl Anthony Towns being out a good majority of the season last season, it was just too weird with two bigs. So,
yeah, sure.
And I said last season that they'd be in 6th, that the combo was going to work. Didn't work. So I don't think it's going to work. I know Anthony Edwards is going to take the next step and he's going to be a great player, but at the same time, I don't see them making the playoffs. I guess that's the play-in, so potentially.
So supposing Anthony Edwards or Karl Anthony Towns got traded, who do you think is lower down in the chopping block? Who's more likely to get traded?
Karl Anthony Towns, because he's a good piece to trade that people would want him.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, they're going to keep. He's the face of their franchise for years to come, I'm sure of it. Rudy, they got to keep him around because they would be back-stepping and saying, we made a mistake trading for Rudy. It didn't work out. So I think they'll probably keep Rudy, and it'll be more like a Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert type thing again, but it'll be Anthony Edwards instead of Donovan Mitchell. And I think they'll be fine if they have some good surrounding pieces, and Rudy just plays like he has done with the Jazz. So,
yeah.
Who's at 11th for you?
Oklahoma.
Sorry, not 11th, 10th.
Oklahoma.
That's who you have is Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I like Oklahoma. I guess if they go higher, I wouldn't be completely surprised. But I right now with the info I have, I'm going. That's where I'm going with that.
That's probably a smart guess. Mine was a little bit out there on my guessing, but again, I'm trying to randomly predict what's going to happen in these standings. So, at 11th, I have the Mavs. It's another one of those teams that I don't think that it's going to work. It's not that they don't have a good offense. I think they've got great offense. I think their defense is terrible. And I think other teams are going to beat them for that reason alone. So I don't think the Mavs will make the playoffs, which I predicted that last season and was correct. So interested to see if they make moves and what kind of moves they will make if they go in the opposite direction. Because Luka is another one of those stars that could be disgruntled and ask for a trade. So New York is just watching with all of their assets.
I know how much much you like. I see how much you're into New York making a trade like that. Do you remember Carmelo?
Yeah, I do
Do you
remember that.
Derrick Rose?
I'm
giving you a hard time. I'm saying none of those guys worked. I just think the Knicks are a joke. So I'm sorry.
Derrick Rose, they got later in his career though, when he was a shell of what he was.
Sure.
And Carmelo was actually really good in New York. I think he didn't have enough supporting cast for them to be good. Which, they're getting better. They're getting better at what they're doing. You've seen them kind of climb the ranks a little bit, so...
Yeah.
They're being smarter in their decisions, too. They didn't just blow all of their assets on Donovan Mitchell.
Yep.
They've been waiting. And Donovan might even just go sign in New York. Who knows? Because he's from there.
Yeah, I can see
So, and that's not this season. He's with the Cavs, obviously. But next season, they could be better if they play their cards right. So, okay, moving up to the higher rankings in the West. Who do you have at 11th?
I've got the Jazz.
Jazz.
I put them there. I want them to do better. You know, I live here. I like the Jazz. I want them to.
You live where? You're in Chicago Stadium right now, David.
I am in Chicago right now, but I live in Utah. So
kidding. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I want the Jazz to do well. So this will surprise you. Out of the last 4 teams that are in the West, I put the Blazers at 12th, and reason being they're ahead of the Pelicans on my list because I think they'll be a good team. I think they'll be pretty decent with the pieces that they now have. They are a young team, but in years to come, man, they are going to be good. With Scoot Henderson and DeAndre Ayton and others.
Okay.
So, then I have the Pelicans. I don't know what's Zion's future, but they went from being a really good team to going all the way down the rankings last season. And I just don't have any faith in them. So.
Sure.
Who do you have at 12th and 13th? Go ahead.
I've got Houston.
Ooh, Houston up high. Okay.
And then San Antonio.
Okay.
I feel like I'm missing a team. Right.
OKC at 11th. Jazz.
And the Jazz at 12.
Jazz at 12.
And Houston at 13.
Spurs. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I think Houston has done nothing essentially, and the Spurs, they got Wemby, but they're gonna have to train him and they're gonna have to get him a supporting cast.
He's got Jeremy Sochan.
Okay.
The Dennis Rodman of this generation.
I mean, didn't Rodman play center?
Yeah, that's what Jeremy Sochan plays.
Yeah, but I mean, Wemby is supposed to be the center, or are they going to use him?
Oh, that's true.
Forward?
I think they'll probably put Sochan as the power forward.
Yeah.
I wasn't too high on the Spurs either. I put them at 14th. I just don't think it's going to take them some time to figure it out. And then I was putting all of my teams there, and then I was like, oh, well, the only one I have left is the Rockets. And I don't know if the Rockets will actually be that bad, but that's where I put them. It's 15th.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be last, right? I think the West is stacked. There are a lot of good teams in the West. So,
yeah.
And Dylan Brooks, in his, I don't know if it was his debut, but in preseason he got ejected only a couple minutes into the game, which is pretty funny.
By the way, I don't know if you saw, but in the preseason, the Nuggets beat the Suns.
I did see that.
Yeah, just making sure. And obviously, you know that. I mean, My last in the West is the Blazers. I
Give them dead last, huh?
Yeah, I'm not as high on them as you are.
Okay. Well, I only have them at 12. And that's just above the Rockets, the Spurs, and the Pelicans. So, either way, I'm just excited to see Wemby and Chet and Scoot, a lot of these rookies, see how they do. It should be an exciting year.
Every year is exciting.
True that. It's always crazy to see how things end up too, because you can make these predictions and what you think is entirely wrong. So, I'm excited. Season starts in 10 days, October 20th.
Yeah.
So, we'll start getting into additional topics of in-season tournament, and predictions of who we think is going to win what. We'll talk about that in a later episode.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for watching. For all things NBA and to stay up to date, hit that subscribe button and follow along. See ya.
See ya.